The Manufacturer World Series in Gran Turismo is finally here, and we've decided to sign for Subaru and join it for the first time. We'll have to go under a UK flag because the only African country that is recognized by PlayStation is South Africa. But we will enter these qualifiers and see how far we can get. I may not be the most experienced or fastest of drivers at this particular point, but we will use this as a template, as a starting point, and see exactly how far we're going to get. So here the meta cars are the Ferrari and the Mercedes. I've decided to stick with Subaru because I've been a Subaru fan literally all my life. Even though it will be absolutely destroyed down those long straights. So we've joined the race lobby so that we can practice for the actual race itself before we actually get to that point. It's one thing to go around the track on your own, it's another to know exactly how to handle it with other people around you. Cue the training montage before we actually start the race. So after locating the nearest wall on multiple occasions and actually going out to touch the grass, we are now heading into the race itself. The pit entry into the pit lane of this truck is in a very treacherous position, so it's very difficult to see it, and oftentimes people cut the solid line and get themselves a 3-second penalty. We ourselves did that during the practice race, and at least now I know better. I'll keep it clean, make sure I do not get that penalty, and let's see if we'll actually be able to gain positions, because I know for sure people will get penalties. Now on to qualifying. Do keep an eye on this guy ahead of us. Is going to feature and be absolute chaos for us. Someone has found themselves onto the wall and we've just come out of the pit lane. I don't know how you've ended up there. But now it's a matter of getting as much space as possible, not being too close to the car ahead and not having someone beaming behind you, ready to push you off. So we warm up the tires a bit and try and look for a solid slot to put our car. We'll let this guy pass because he's very much in a hurry. And there we go, we have our space. People are actually treating this like it's a race. I'm sure that Ferrari's line is going to be compromised. He nearly sent it into the wall. He might just mess up our qualifying, being so slow ahead of us. Let's hope that does not happen. It's going to happen. He's not moving out of the way even though his own lap is compromised. So he compromises mine in turn and he's not going to set a fast lap. That's very disappointing. Surely, all of that just to go off track. For now, it's a matter of keeping it clean, keeping it within the track limits. I am not aiming for the fastest lap because my fastest lap in previous sessions was a 1:22, which is 2 to 3 seconds off of the pace of the fastest drivers, which is quite a bit. So if it's at 1 minute 22 that I'm able to reach, let me work on consistently hitting that 1 minute 22. I don't see the need to over-push myself or feel overconfident and then I end up in the dirt or in a wall. The German in the Porsche has picked up a penalty. Someone is going off track. How would you actually get yourself a 2-second penalty? People off track, this is absolute chaos. 1 minute 20s are the times people are setting this. Actually, this last corner is where I struggle a lot and bleed out crazy amounts of time. I've not exactly managed to nail that final chicane and then up the hill. I tend to spin a lot up there, so been playing it easy. And the guy ahead of us is still carrying the penalty, so his previous lap was messed up. This lap is also going to be messed up. Unless he's able to get to the finish line before this timer goes down, he may not be able to actually set a lap. And he might just mess up our own lap time, and there we go. Knowing he messed up his own lap and was not going to set a competitive time on this particular lap because he had a penalty to serve, he's decided to mess our lap time also. So I am not sure if we're actually going to improve on this lap, but nevertheless we will push as hard as we can, maybe get a few seconds, tenths of a second in the last sector, and we see where we will place in the race. A 121.7, that is actually quite good, my personal best. Maybe we would have found ourselves in the 120s, in the mid 120s, had the Porsche not slowed us down the entirety of the lap and practically brake checked us. A snap of overstay here, I'm already losing speed, time on the previous lap time. Extreme understeer, we've climbed the curb. I do not think we're improving on this one. But somehow, in spite of all that, we actually improved and set our fastest time. And we managed to actually get into 9th place. Which for my first race it's not too bad. It's not the worst position to be in. Nola in the green Porsche managed to actually set a lap time last minute. Lovely cutscene. The top 5 are very close to each other, very tightly packed, within less than a second of each other. Now once it gets to 6th place, we fall off by a second to 2 seconds. So my fight is not going to be against the top 5, but I will try and aim to get into that 6th place and battle with the guys that are a little bit more matched to my level. We'll try and set a consistent time of about 122, somewhere there. If we can go faster than that, that would be brilliant. So we're starting out on the medium tires. A lot of people start with the softs, but I'd rather stick on the mediums, set some consistent laps, let other people fight each other up front, and then I switch to the softs while everyone is struggling and sliding around. I've got more grip. It's like, hey, I all of a sudden have more grip. Now the start of the race. We know all hell breaks loose on the first lap, so we just hope we will not be caught up in that. If we can get out of the first lap alive, that would be at least something. That would be decent, hopeful. So we've gone for my Kenya Airways Red Bull livery. One thing I love about this BRZ is that no matter what the race is, whether it's day or night, my lights are always on. I know here everyone's lights are on, but even when others' lights are off, mine remain on. For whatever reason, I think that looks really cool. Daydreaming aside though, this is finally it, the start of the Manufacturers Cup. About half an hour of pure concentration, trying to set consistent lap times. The Porsche behind me has gotten a really good run, is fighting ahead of us. I think I should be able to keep the position. We keep it simple on the first lap, others we ram the guys ahead of us. Unfortunately that has allowed the Porsche to get past us, but if he's quicker than us, fine. We let him through. As opposed to fighting for last place, the Great Leslie spins out. We get up, but fortunately we do not end up being spun out. Unfortunately, now the Mustang is in last place. The Porsche ahead of us has gone wide. He might possibly get a penalty for that. Let's see what the penalty says. Yep, 5.5 of a second. Seemed he was a bit too overeager. But around these corners we seem to be able to catch up. Just flashing my lights at him to put him off a little bit. He's going to now slow down and we'll get past him. 1 position gained. So now our current goal is to survive the first lap. Make sure we do not spin out, make sure that nobody rams us off of track. I think if the latter were to happen, that would be very much unavoidable. Ahead of the green Porsche, now we have the black one right behind us. Into this nasty chicane, we brake early so that we can get to the apex. We have been rammed by the black and red Porsche. He's decided he's not slowing down around this corner at all. So now into last place, our race has been effectively ruined. But it's not over. Now that we're here in fresh air, unfortunately, what we can do is build consistent lap times and hope the guys ahead will be fighting and losing plenty of time. If someone makes a mistake, we'll be able to actually pick that up. So we'll do the next 10 to 12 laps on these medium tires and then we come in and change into the soft tires. We've gotten ahead of Leslie, not sure what happened there, maybe another spin. The Mustang continuing to be notorious for locating and driving into the nearest crowd. Sure enough, a couple of laps later, we end up catching up to a pack who was fighting, and it seems as if the guy ahead of us has a penalty. So it means we'll be able to actually rapidly catch up, which is good for us. This has now quickly turned into an underdog story that is about to unfold. So ahead of us is a Honda and a Mercedes. The Honda is the one with the penalty, so he slows down. And we've gained a position, 11th place. The top 10 is looking possible. It's actually looking possible. So we now have to reel in the pack of cars ahead of us. Very closely, a very close fight ahead of us. And halfway into the next lap, we've managed to gain 2 seconds on them just because they are fighting. So essentially, you've given me 2 seconds free, allowed me to catch up because you're fighting, and they both have penalties. We might actually do this. We might actually get into the top 10 from last. On this track, even if you have half a second penalty, it ends up being 1 to 2 seconds because you lose so much time on that straight and down the hill. You're just constantly losing speed where others are going flat out. If we keep it neat down this corner, we can gain time on the guys ahead and probably a good exit. Unfortunately, we do not hit the apex and we've lost plenty of time. The Honda is right behind us. He's going for the move. I'm not actually going to defend it because I've lost way too much time. And as you can see, he's taken off. He has left me in his dust. But it's okay, we will catch up. This incoming sector is where I'm really good at and where the BRZ works brilliantly well with its increased downforce. Honda taking an interesting line, but he makes it work. Has a bit of a moment and we actually catch up to him. A bit squirrely around these corners. Let's just try and keep up to the guys ahead of us. And as you can see, I have gained a bit of time on him. I'm actually hoping that he will push the guys ahead of us and therefore pull me along with him and we can get past them. The Mercedes is rapid on the straights, almost unbeatable, but around the corners, a little bit heavy with that long nose. By the next lap, we're still close behind the Honda. I keep losing speed on that back straight. They head downhill into the finish line, but on this sector I catch up to the Honda, which is seeming a bit more unstable than quite a number of other guys. But we're both here chasing down on the Mercedes eyes ahead of us. Lap 8 it's the same formation, but the Mercedes goes off track. The Honda now manages to get his place. The South African ahead of us will be losing a lot of time on the straight and will actually get the opportunity to get close to him by the next corner. Whether or not we'll be able to make a move, I do not know. Probably not because the BRZ does not have good enough top end, but if we can keep up with him within the next corners and the first sector, we should be fine. He's on the brakes for quite a while, manages to get a good exit out of it. We again lose speed, but we'll catch him by the next few corners. Admittedly, we're not able to do so, but it's lap 11, it's time to finally pit. We've had the medium tires for all this while. We managed to keep it within the line, we do not cross it. It's almost impossible, it is impossible to actually see the line when coming in. But I managed my speed, maybe lost a tenth of a second, 2/10. But if it means I miss out on that 3-second penalty that will slow me down even more, well and good. Onto the soft tires now, we should be a little bit more rapid, able to take a bit more risks, while others will now be going onto the medium tire, which means they'll be a little bit slower per lap than I will. Onto the pit exit, my hope is that my outlap will be decent enough and those with 3-second time penalties for crossing that line will actually end up behind me, or people ahead of me decide to fight and lose time and I catch up. Last place currently, I do not know if the Mustang that was behind us managed to pit or not. If not, then I have extremely fresh tires, I should be able to make an overtake. Things are looking a little bit bleak right now. But there are plenty of drivers who have not actually gone into the pit lane to change their tires, and that is mandatory for this race. There's actually a car serving a penalty, and would you believe it, it's the same Porsche that pushed us out. It's crazy, you ruin my race and then proceed to be dead last. All of that for what exactly? If you're in second place, maybe I'd have been like, okay, you knocked me off, but at least you've performed. All of that just to end up behind me. People are actually now starting to get into the pits. The Honda is still ahead of me, and it seems the Mustang actually did not go into the pit lane. Started on softs and is now going onto the medium. The medium tire will be very slow for this stint, especially behind there. But anyway, By lap 21 out of 22, not too much happened, but I managed to get myself into 8th place after a number of people had pitted or served their 3-second penalties for crossing the pit lane. But I have the Porsche right behind me, he's actually gaining. Yes, I'm quicker in this first sector, but this final sector is where I really bleed out a lot of time, and he's right behind me now, he's in the slipstream. I do not have straight line speed in this BRZ. This is now starting to get tense. This is lap 22, the final lap of the race. Are we going to finish in 8th place? We're far enough ahead, we might have just defended this one, but he decides he's not braking at all and pushes me off of track, and he himself goes off of the track. Extremely dirty move, and I end up losing 2 more positions. Now I'm in 10th place. We need to try and recover and make sure that we do not lose another position because of this diabolical dive bomb. Thankfully we're far enough ahead, and the driver behind us is over 20 seconds behind. We bring it back home in 9th place because somebody gets a penalty. But the battle for first place was something really intense. We had this Mercedes. This is an actual clean line, a clean overtake through the same corner that I was rammed out of. The Mercedes manages to hold position with a Porsche close behind. Howie and the man whose name I will not even attempt to pronounce are going at it over the last lap. If they're not careful, there's a BMW behind them, and he might actually end up getting into the mix. The pink Mercedes manages to shake off the Porsche but ends up exceeding track limits, and in turn gives the BMW the position, and eats a bit of grass. While closely behind them was a pair of Ferraris fighting with each other. And pay attention to the Ferrari that is ahead of him. He did exactly what I should have done in this situation. An absolutely diabolical dive bomb by the Ferrari that was behind him. He anticipates that, he expects such a desperate move in the last lap, gives the position, and lives to fight another day. I meanwhile took the normal racing line and got knocked into oblivion. So it really brings a question, should you defend your position or should you concede it knowing the guy behind you is not even gonna bother to slow down? Even after hitting me, he still did not make the corner, ruining what would have been a 6th or 7th place for me. We didn't finish quite where we wanted to be, but we will try and improve on this position in the incoming races. Thank you for watching, I hope you've enjoyed it.